Hi everyone and welcome to another card making video. The summer release from Lawn Fawn is here and of course I got some new things to play with. One of those things is the Stitched Teacup set to make really cute teacups. My first thought was, I want to make a teacup ride scene. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. So let's get started. Spreek je Nederlands? Er is ondertiteling beschikbaar. As always, I start with coloring my images. I use my Copic markers for that and I put the color number on the left of my paper so you know which color number I use. I used critters from different sets to fill in every teacup of the ride. I used Really High Five, Let's Go Nuts and Send With Love add-on. All the images are stamped with Lawn Fawn jet black ink using my MISTI. This way I can stamp multiple times till I have a nice crisp impression. If you want more details on any supply I used during the video, be sure to check out the blog post I linked in the description to learn more about that. If you want to skip watching me color, you can skip to the time that pop-ups on the screen now. You can also find a clickable time link in the description. I don't color the tails of the skunk and the fox, because I will be cutting those off so they can fit in the teacup. You could also make a point of not coloring the bottom part of the images since that will be in the teacup too, but it's easier to color it so overall blending is easier to do. After the coloring, I always like to go over the inner lines with a black fine liner. This brings back some detail that got a bit dull because of the coloring. It's totally optional, but for me it makes a difference. To finish the images off, I'm adding highlights with a white gel pen. For lighter colored images, like the body, I like to use the Uniball Signo Broad Pen. This pen acts a little more like a paint pen, so the white lines are a bit better to see on a light colored area. As you might have noticed, I already die cut the images and placed them back in the paper with some tape on the back for easy coloring. From the Sweater Weather Remix Petite Paper Pack, I chose different papers for the base of the teacups. I cut the ear and the saucer out of some off-white watercolor paper. This adds some interest to the cups. I also cut a decorative flower out of the watercolor paper for each cup. This is how I assembled each cup. I cut the inside of the cup out of the same pattern paper as the cup and glue this to the cup with only 2 drops of glue, 1 drop on each side. This way you can pop in the critters really easily. I glue the handle to the cup and then I glue the cup to the saucer. To finish the cup, I glue on the decorative flower. With the same dye that I used for the inside of the cup, I also cut a piece of black cardstock. I glue it to the saucer. This piece gives the idea of the spinning circle from a teacup ride. You could also do these in the same color of the base of your card if you want them less noticeable. Now I'm adding the critters to the cups. Like I said before, I'm cutting off the tail from the fox before I place them in the cup. When they are in the right position, I flip the piece over, put some glue behind the critters and press them down to secure them in the cup. I cut the arm loose of the skunk and then I cut off the tail to make them fit in the cup, just like for the fox. For the squirrel, I cut a little slit in the part of the tail so it fits over the edge of the teacup. I finish up the cups and move on to the next step. With the flattest die from the simple stitched hillside borders, I cut a floor for my scene. I do this out of a mini slimline panel that I cut out of some Lawn Fawn pencil eraser cardstock. I want to add a little bit of dimension to it, so I go around the bottom edge with a blending brush and Just As Oxide Aged Mahogany. By the way, if you like my videos, you can support my channel by subscribing. It's totally free to do so. If you already are a subscriber, thank you! I let it dry for a little before I lightly brush it with some baby powder to make it anti-static for heat embossing. Out of the coaster critters I got this fun enjoy the ride sentiment. I want to make sure it's placed in the middle, so I measure out where to place it. I take it over to my MISTI for easy stamping. After I stamped it with clear embossing ink, I can sprinkle on some white embossing powder. I tap off the axis and then I preheat my heat gun for half a minute before I melt the powder. I let it cool off for a bit and then I wipe away leftover baby powder with my fingers. With the largest die from the large mini slimline stackables, I cut a panel out of white cardstock suitable for ink blending. I take the floor piece I made earlier and place it on the panel. I move it down a little and trace it with a pencil. Now I can see how far down I need to blend my stencil on the background. I'm using the new Lots of Stars background stencils to create a starry background in 2 different colors. With the first stencil, I'm using Distress Oxide Squeeze Lemonade. I use a blending brush for easy blending. When that's done, I align the second stencil. I blend this one with Distress Oxide Fossilized Amber. I made a craft paper card base and I adhere my starry background with the use of my ATG gun. Then, with liquid glue, I'm adhering the floor piece. Now it's time to add the teacups to it. I glue down the left and the right one first. They fit nicely between the edge and the sentiment. I only add glue to the black piece. It will adhere nice and secure, but it will make the top part float off the background a bit, which adds a lot of dimension to the card. The last teacup is glued down in the middle, higher than the rest to emphasize the idea of the teacup ride. I also make sure the skunk sticks out of the top a little. Both of the other cups stick out of the side a little and gives the card some dimension as well. On a strip of black cardstock I heat embossed Happy Birthday, which you can also find in Coaster Critters. I adhere this in the top left corner and after I cut off the excess of the strip, my card is finished. I love how this idea turned out. The critters fit perfectly in the cups and they seem to enjoy the ride. What also is fun is that you can use different critters if you want, so you can easily use what you have. I hope you enjoyed watching my video and that you feel inspired to get crafty as well. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell to receive a notification when a new video is up. Thanks for watching, see you next time! Bye! See you next time! Bye! Bye! See you next time! Bye!